What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. I am sick. So this week is going to be a bit of a struggle, but we also have a ton of stories. So I'm going to make my way through all of them the best I can. If you enjoy the series regularly, hit the like button now, because you may not like me by the end of it. Anyway, let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, a new release from HPI. And this may not seem initially new, and you're kind of right, but also not totally right. This is a new body that looks like the old Cup Racer body, but it is indeed new. It's just the BMW 2002, which is a fantastic looking body, and they did a good job on it. It's just larger than the Cup Racer one that they had previously. Now, it's on the Sport 3 platform, which I believe that part is unchanged. Hemistorm had a video on this new release that I watched, and he went through showing a lot of the details about the body and explaining what was and what isn't, or mainly what is new. I believe that the chassis underneath is unchanged for the most part. At least I didn't catch any differences in his video. If you'd like any of the details on that, of course, HPI has it up on their website already, and I believe that you can get these things ordered up in a pre-order fashion now. But we do have some design work happening over at HPI, at least on the body side. That's not exactly the same as having a whole car done or something like that, which we talked about their 1/18th scale release last week, which that turns out that is a bit of a OEM. It's from one of the other small scale companies. I can't recall the name right offhand. And then HPI just kind of had some logos put in some places, and then of course had the body done. So it doesn't appear that HPI has a full design staff up and running. At least there's no evidence of it yet at this point. But they did comment on one of the videos last week saying that the full line of Toyota licensed options would be back, meaning, you know, the previous FJ Cruiser body from the original Venture. I guess that will come back. Not sure if they'll put it back on a Venture. I mean, when that body was out, that car was in production. FJ Cruiser hasn't existed for almost as long as HPI has been gone. But either way, HPI, they're making waves. It's just, it's in the shallow end still. Next, new one from RGT. This is the Pathfinder. Now, RGT, again, one of the ones that we don't see as much here in the US, but this one kind of caught my eye. It's a long wheelbase crawler, and it's got a very unique style body on it. 4-door Bronco pickup style body. I kind of like it. I like that they did something different. They kind of reached out there. Just, it's not terrible. I don't hate that. The platform underneath is, you know, along the lines of a number of the kits on the market. Of course, the longer wheelbase is slightly different than you see through most options, but 2-speed locking and unlocking differentials, portal axles. Underneath is going to look familiar if you've, you know, looked around at other models and things like that. But this is a new one. I believe it's coming. I believe that you can get this in both brushed and brushless, but these aren't necessarily as available through typical channels that we often shop, you know, through here in the US as much, but they are available through sites like, I believe, like AliExpress or some of those. So if you gotta have this Bronco pickup body, that's where you're gonna have to shop. And then new from Tamiya, you've got a new Clodbuster. It's a Clodbuster collaboration with Kaido House. This is a 1/64 scale. But if Tamiya made this, wouldn't that be amazing? Kaido House 1/64 scale models, you know, Hot Wheels type area, but with just some more detail. They're just a little bit cooler. The wheels have like aluminum barrels. I've got a few right there actually. And I also got an email from one of the Canadian stores saying that they were going to have these available through Horizon as a distributor. So this is coming through Tamiya. So depending on where your local hobby shop may shop, if they get direct from Tamiya or they only go through a distributor, they may be able to get you one of these if you just really dig the look, because it is a fantastic looking setup. And the Clodbuster carryover, how could you not like that? I'll put a link directly to Kaido House's website down below as well, in case you just want to skip all the middlemen and go direct. Next is Losi discontinuing the LMT already. is the big question, because they have marked discontinue on at least one of the models at this point. The Son of a Digger is marked as discontinued. Now, they have the Grave Digger, and then I believe that they have some of the kit versions still available, but you just wonder if they're selling out of stock and then they will mark discontinued, or if the Son of a Digger just didn't sell nearly as much as the Grave Digger, and they're either just going to double down on the single RTR model, or maybe they're going to change it up, V2, or just another secondary body style. Hard to say. The LMT's been out for a little while, but it doesn't seem like long enough where Losi would discontinue it yet. It's hard to say with Horizon though. Sometimes things like that can happen. So I'm not saying panic buy, but you just never, if you want the Son of a Digger, I'll tell you, then you should probably go ahead and buy it. Traxxas released a bolt-on underglow kit for their Furite 2.0. The drift car specifically, I believe, is where this is aimed, but it's underglow. I mean, now LEDs are pretty readily available these days. You could probably come up with your own underglow kit very easily, but Traxxas does things in a way where, it just all goes together exactly like it should. There's no guessing. It's just as simple and easy as it could get, and that's the benefit of these type of things. Yes, it's going to be more expensive than getting some inexpensive LED strips and doing this yourself, but we get that that's not the point, right? So if you got a Furite 2.0 and you want to get your Drift King on, order up. I didn't feel well enough to order myself up a good segue for this week, so if you're interested in channel membership, all of the information is down in the description below. But channel membership helps support the channel a little bit extra. You get some extra behind the scenes video. You get After News Delight, which is an extension of the Scale News Update, where we go back in and talk more in depth about each of the stories, maybe some more background, rants, who knows. But again, help support the channel. I also did a before the live stream for channel members on Friday, which was kind of fun as well. So anyway, if you're interested, all the information down below. Thanks again to the channel members, and appreciate all of you who watch the channel no matter what. If you work for an RC company and you'd like to see any of your products on the Scale News Update, you can send me an email at news@harleydesigns.com. Include a photo, a description, and a link to the product on your website, and we'll try and get it on the Scale News. This week, we had a handful of emails come in, and we're gonna go over those products and interesting topics now. The first one's about Kraken RC, the large scale company. Now, Kraken RC was recently bought by Taylor RC out of the UK. Taylor RC, as well as Steve Byland, formerly of DDM, are the ones that will be heading up this new effort. Now, Steve Byland, again, he worked for DDM for a long time, huge in the fifth scale market for, I don't know how long, 10, 20 years, something like that. But he'll be heading up the US side of things. Taylor RC will be doing the UK side. Inventory and order fulfillment are both being worked on currently to kind of boost back up their inventory and available products. And I believe it will also be split between the two locations. Kraken RC, they were around for quite some time. I'm not really sure what things had been going on. Maybe not much, and maybe that's why the change of ownership. But they did say in the email that more is coming, including the possibility of new models, which some of you may remember. I know we talked about it on the Scale News quite some time ago, that Kraken RC was working on a 1/10 scale, like true to scale UTV, like proper suspension style for UTVs. Now, whether or not they will update that to a more current UTV style or not, I don't know. It was called the Striker back then, and it was actually put up on Indiegogo at the time. It didn't reach funding. I think it only got like 19% when I went back and did a quick search. So we'll see exactly how everything goes this go around, and we'll see how that company can grow. Next in the email was from Brazen Scale. They've got a new chassis platform called the SeVeR. Now, there's actually like 4 different versions of this. It's kind of like the high-low was previously with a forward bias, but redesigned, and a bunch of different styles and options, including forward bias with the capability of having CMS. There's also a forward bias with leaf springs. Not saying anything. And then there's just traditional servo on axle, forward bias, carbon fiber, aluminum, all kinds of different options. If you're looking to build something fairly wild with whatever personal style you're going after, check out this new line from Brazen Scale. Deluxe Fab also dropped some new 2-stage foams. Now, these have a number of different features that they list in the product description about them. You can also get them in 3 different densities already. The inner foam itself has some shape to it to help hold the outer portion of the foam, it says, and improve side hilling. So they're advertised to side hill like a 3D printed foam, but have, be softer or have the ability for more tire squish, things like that. Lots of interesting information listed on their website. I'll link to that down below. These are currently available in 1.9 for 4.75 inch tall tires. They list a number of tires that they think that they'll work best on. This week, Reefs RC posted up a teaser of a couple of new tires that they have coming out. These are both 1.9 by 4.75 tall. One is called the Cheater, and it's got a bit of a sidewall pattern, but across the top is very similar to like the old Losi Boss Claws, or I think that maybe even the Proline Ibex tire has a very similar tread pattern. But this is obviously a tire going after that performance market, not a scale tire in any way as far as that goes, other than that it's the typical size you would find on a lot of our scale trucks. Now, the other one is called the Crux, and it's a more generic off-road style tire. Nothing wildly noticeable about it as far as like carrying over to a full-size tire that I immediately recognize. I think the only thing that I recognize is like the Comic Sans style text logo that they put on the side of this tire. Not sure how they ended up on that one, but maybe that could have taken a second look. Beyond that, tire looks fine. Nothing crazy about it. Yeah, that was the one thing that stood out to me when I looked at the initial photos. But these are going to be coming out towards the end of the month. I think the official release on this is like the 27th. So you'll see more information on that in the next week or so. This Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, not scale news update, Livestream Takeover, the show that Matt and I have done 240 plus odd weeks at this point, coming up on the 6th season. It'll be here before we know it. But come check us out this Wednesday. Always good stuff. Too much fun. My favorite show of the week. This week we had a new release from Ottsix. They're releasing their own axle housings. Now, this axle housing system or setup is kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like the plastic housings you would see where the outer ends of it are changeable to either run the C-hub or, well, this version you can either run a C-hub or a portal version. Now, one thing that is a little bit odd is the portal version doesn't have any extra reduction. So it's just a 1-to-1 portal. You don't actually get the additional benefit that you like to have from portals of having that extra gearing. So things that are advertised for portals, like a portal transmission, not gonna work with this. You're gonna have to treat these like a straight axle in that regard. Beyond that, it's a pretty standard aluminum axle with a dropout third member. Nothing else all that wild about it. One thing that they did note is they kind of went over, even though they don't have any gear reduction or adjustability in their portals at all, they do show their gearing chart. However, I did check their math in their gearing chart and it is not correct. They were showing you can get up to 37% with these gears, and that's not, you can get about 31% with their available gear ratios on their page. They said that 37% is the sweet spot, so they're a little short. I'll post the math up here to show my work. Next, Furitek with their MicroPython. This is their smallest ESC, super tiny, big BEC inside. It's 25 amp brushless or 50 amp brushed out of this tiny little package. SCX 24, Ascent 18, TRX 4M, all of those. This will be a good solution for that. Aluminum case like their full size or the Python Pro, but now in this small one. It is less expensive than the Python Pro. Still not inexpensive. It's about 80 bucks for this thing. So I've ran a lot of Furitek. I've had some good experiences, had some misses here and there, but give this one a shot as well. We'll see how it goes. So I like the smaller size. I liked the, Python Pro worked good for me most of the time, but the smaller size would have definitely been nice. I'll put a link down to that as well in the description below. Next, Redcat released another version of the Ascent 18, their little 1/18 scroll crawler platform. You can tell I'm sick, right? Crawler platform with the Scout 2 body on it. And they took a number of cues from the 1/10 scale version down to this 18th scale. This is more like the Gen 8 rather than the Gen 9, as the Gen 9 was topless with the cage. But they brought over the styling of the Scout 2, as previously they had, oh yeah, the Gen 9 was a Scout 800, I forgot. But Scout 2, they put the IROC tires on it just like the Gen 8 as well. Personal feelings about Scout 2s aside, I think this thing looks pretty good. I think they did a great job on this. Price, not bad, 149 bucks. The Ascent platform is pretty nice. Lots of option parts available for it already as well. It's got portal axles. So if you really like Scout 2s, or you just like the color options that this thing's coming in, go check out what Redcat has there to offer. And while you're over there, you can also check out their Gold LRH 285 designer show kit. That they really gold plated everything. The 285 kit that they have is just like the platform itself. You add everything else onto it to build whatever you're going for, which is, it's a builder's kit, but for the lowrider world, right? So Redcat has obviously done such a great job with this whole area, or creating this area of the market, at least on a mass market side. I know that it existed in ways before, but as far as mass market goes, it never did. Nothing like what they have done with that. So if you just love gold. And then Biddy Designs is teasing new trophy truck or desert truck style bodies for the UDR and the Arrma Mojave. Both of those platforms look fantastic. I always love how, you know, the UDR super scale looks great. The Arrma Mojave is, you know, it's just that the Arrma size, it's all the things that Arrma offers, which I also really love. And seeing what Biddy Designs is going to do with that, I think could just be a huge winner, because they always do such a great job. So looking forward to what those bodies are actually going to look like, because now we just got this dark-esque teaser. So looking forward to seeing that. But that's all the stories to look forward to for this week. We got through them. I apologize for my foggy nature. I don't have a great question for this week. Just give me your home remedies for a sore throat and feeling like garbage. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Hit the like button, the channel membership stuff, comment, throw a comment down, whatever you have, just because I got nothing today. Help me help the algorithm do things. Appreciate you guys. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.